Somebody once said that money has gender and that it is female, to be precise. Not just any female, not the kind that talks, but the kind that fobs. A lady, refined, articulate, affluent. So how you treat her will determine whether or not the relationship will continue, whether or not she will stay with you or that she will flee into the arms of another person, someone who is more welcoming. So she's not the kind that will ride or die for you. She will live for you, but she will not die for you. Hi, I am Leleti. Welcome back to my channel. Here we talk about money and general lifestyle issues. And today we'll be talking about our relationship with money. So how we relate with money will determine how our accounts will look like eventually. It could either be fear, carelessness, or carefulness. Respect, just plain respect. Like you don't fear it and you're not careless with it. Like, the way they say that the opposite of love is not hate but indifference. Yes, so you acknowledge it but you're not afraid of it. If you're afraid of money, then maybe you're also afraid of debt. This may also make you get into more debt, as funny as that sounds, because you're running away from a debt. So you borrow to clear it. This makes you end up paying more in interest because you become reckless, or not reckless maybe according to you at the moment, but you pay more because you are being charged interest. Maybe the initial loan was at 6%, you borrow from an 8% giver and then from another 10% giver, and then now you see you're paying more interest. You're paying 2% more and then you're also paying 4% more just to clear the 6% or 8% interest loan that you initially had. Debt can also be managed by planning. So if you stay calm, you accept, you acknowledge where you are, and then ask yourself, how do I proceed from here? You look for ways to clear it amicably, like without denting your pockets and also your financial status. So anything can be planned, including debt. You manage your debt. You don't just clear it, you plan how to do it. They say if you have never broken a stone, then you can only stare at a mountain. But if you have broken a stone, then you have experience. So whatever thing that you have, it's important that you look at it from a respectful point of view. Like, this is what I want to do. This is the investment that I would like to get into. This is something I would like to get into. Don't approach it with fear. Neither should you approach it with carelessness. Approach it from a point of respect. The way you would address a peer that you respect or a mentor. Look at it as it is. Acknowledge its existence, how it is, how much it costs, the risk, the opportunities, all that you need to do to get there, and who you need to become, because also it matters who you are, who you need to be, so that you can be able to safely and respectfully get into such an investment. Then from there, put it down in steps, like break it down into steps. Then again, go back to the steps and look at how you're going to approach each and every one of them, so that the end goal is the investment and you're able to achieve it without breaking yourself, burning yourself out, or just going into bad debt. Like, give yourself time. Just give yourself time before you get yourself into that cruising mode. Like, give the investment time. Give yourself time to, you give the business time, the grace period, when it is at the infancy stages, but also give yourself time. Allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself to learn from the mistakes that made you fail. They say, he who has never failed, he has never tried to do a great thing. Because if you're only trying to do the things that you know, then obviously you're never going to fail. But then again, you're never going to learn anything new. Neither are you going to learn about your potential, of which you may have but are unaware of. The other thing is, people confuse being able to buy a house as being able to afford it. Owning a house comes with its own expenses. This is not just a house, but an asset. Let's talk about a car. Just because you're able to drive it out of the showroom does not mean that you can afford it, because it comes with its own expenses. It comes with fuel charges, it comes with insurance service, and all these other expenses. So just because you can drive it off the showroom does not mean that you can afford it. So do your maths right first and make sure that you are able to afford the asset that you are buying. And especially if it is the depreciating kind, which in essence becomes a liability at some point. The other point is that ignorance is bliss, but then it is no defense. But knowledge can be a burden, because when you know better, then you should do better. But if you don't do better, then at the back of your head, you'll be passing judgment to yourself. You'll be telling yourself, oh, I did this instead of this. So you're doing wrong. You should be doing better, but you're not doing it. But also note that no knowledge is wasted. So you may not be ready for all the knowledge that you're acquiring. So when you find something interesting that you can read, just read. That knowledge sticks with you. It may not be applicable now, but in future or at some point in your life, it will be. And they say when the student is ready, then the teacher will appear. And there is no better teacher than your brain, and especially a ready mind. One that you've been flexing on, like you've been trying out its muscles. I know a few things about this, I know a few things about that. So you have a general idea, which is easier to build on than starting afresh. And you'll be amazed at what your brain can remember. So just read. It doesn't mean that you're going to use that knowledge then. Or maybe you know something and you're not doing it at that time. Your mind is nudging you to do better, but you're not hearing it, at least not now. But best believe at some point you will apply that knowledge, and that's when now we say that no knowledge is wasted, because now you know better, you're now doing better. Start where you are. Don't wait for the millions. Don't wait for that big investment. Maybe your goal is to own cottages or holiday homes or such. There's like Airbnb, and you want to own. That is the kind of the business you want to get into. At the moment, you're not able to build such houses, but have you considered other options of getting you there? Just because something is capital intensive doesn't mean that, and you're not ready with the capital yet, doesn't mean that you should get out of it. You can go into other areas. There are many feeders to a river. There are other aspects or types of businesses in the same industry, so you can go around that business into something more affordable to you at the moment, and you're still doing it. Like you can get into interior decor. You furnish houses for such in the area of interest, like the Airbnbs. You do the interior decors or you do their photography and advertising, so you are somehow related to that industry. If not, if that is not your kind of thing, then you can consider hiring, because there are people who just hire a house, they renovate it if it's permissible to by the owner, and they decorate it to suit that class, then they advertise it. So in essence, they are still in the Airbnb business, not that they own the houses, but they are in that business and they are making their money, and eventually this money will lead them to owning their own. The other thing that you should always remember, is that financial abundance is a mindset long before it is attained. So what you tell yourself, what you tell your brain, it listens. So be first wealthy in your head. Let your mind be rich. Be wealthy inside first, and then it will be attained in the physical. Thank you guys for watching, and kindly subscribe, like, and comment. Tell me of other nuggets that you know about finances and our attitude towards them, and I'll see you on the next one.